working today to keep all of us safe.
And the families, you know, the whole family serves. So if you're deployed overseas, it's the wife with the kids. It's got to make the Christmas magic still happen without their loved one at home. So thanks to military spouses as well.
And seeing their families is the present so many of them want. Yeah.
We want to know what gifts you are waking up to this morning, like Molly said earlier. Please send your pictures, friends@foxnews.com. We want the crazier, the better.
Yeah.
We don't want to see them all like manicured. We want to see the real kids reacting.
We know those kids are already dragging you out of bed. It's early, but
and your memories. You know, what is the most memorable thing that if you have a photo of your most memorable time, send it to us at friends@foxnews.com and tell us just a little snippet about what that memory was.
And speaking of memories,
I have a few, so I'll start. Here we go. These are my daughters with Santa now, and as kids. There's Mal and Mackenzie. Merry Christmas, guys. Can't remember what year that was. There's a little bit earlier. Look at that.
We're going back in time.
A very happy Santa, by the way.
That's a pretty legit Santa,
That's very strong, very strong. And then this is Mackenzie with her first Charlie Brown tree. You know, you get the little one there as you're going through. And let's see what's coming up next.
You bundled her up for that one.
This is here we go. 1980. Look at that altar boy.
That's you.
Cute little Griff. Yes, you know, just putting the cheer in there. And there I am, about 4 years old in 1974, looking at Santa, wondering what in the heck is this guy? You notice I got a lollipop in my right hand. I'm holding away from him. Like, this guy is not getting my good one.
You looked understandably skeptical. I get it. Here's a few of my photos here. I have a new, this is my brother and I from way back in the day. He was the good one. You can see the little glimmer in his eye, how well behaved he was. Here we are, another photo. Just
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And that is my baby. That is her first Christmas last year. Baby Marin, best gift ever. Wonderful. This will be her second Christmas, and she's starting to get it now. You know, she can actually pull at the wrapping paper a little bit, and yeah,
and we're
it's getting more and more fun. Yes, we're going to meet her later in the show.
Is this her TV debut?
This is Marin's TV debut.
Big. That's big.
We're going to do a little no-bake cheesecaking way later on if you stick around for the whole 4 hours.
By the way, before we get to mine, whoever's jinging the bells, they've got the hardest job today because it's going to be constant throughout the course of our morning.
There we go.
We've got 4 hours of jingle belling to do.
All right, here we go. This is my wife and I. My wife's actually going to be joining us later on today for a cooking segment that we're looking forward to.
Your tree looks good there, by
That's
the way.
not our tree. That's my parents' tree. Our tree is the Charlie Brown tree. And there's another picture of my wife and I, and I believe we have some as a child. There I am with Santa. What's amazing about Santa, Santa hasn't aged. I see him right there. He looks exactly the same.
He's timeless.
There's my brother there on the right, and then, little fatty, as I like to call myself, there with Santa.
I like the Christmas sweater.
It's something else, isn't it? And there I am, probably my first, I don't know, first or second.
Is that one of those Burt rocking things?
Oh, yeah, Burt was awesome.
Burt was awesome.
And I've never ridden a horse after this. This was my first experience. It was all sports equipment for Christmases after that. How many pictures did I send in?
What have you got there? What is
my
that?
God, I didn't realize you would use them all. And that's a heck of a... I'm like strangling Raggedy Ann.
I like you're getting all the classic toys in, though.
I'm ripping her
eye out. Right, Sesame Street, right to Raggedy Ann, you're covering the bases.
That's what we did in the 70s and 80s, you know?
Well, I tell you who's covering their bases is Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Claus up all night long. Santa, are you still awake over there?
I'm still awake.
And where else would he want to be on Christmas morning but here on Fox?
There's nothing like New York City at Christmas.
Yeah, we got questions for you, Santa. So here we go. I'm just going to start with this one coming in from a viewer. Have you ever gotten stuck in the chimney? And if you did, what did you do?
I haven't gotten stuck yet. I've come close many a time, but I haven't gotten stuck yet. So I'm waiting for that day to actually happen. And hopefully the first responders will come in the time that's needed.
Sure.
And here's one more. Santa, I know you're probably tired today. Are you really jolly all of the time?
I am. 24/7, 365 days a year. This is me. Doesn't get any better.
The joy just exudes.
I get the journalistic question. Talk to us about the jealousy level that the other reindeer have for Rudolph.
Well, that only happens on the extreme nights when there's a lot of fog.
Sure.
That he needs to lead the pack. The rest of the time, they leave him alone.
So they all want to be the superstar that day, but they can't because, again, the earlier discussion, they don't have the red nose.
Yeah, the toughest
part. And they're
part.
so grateful in that moment.
Yep, the toughest part is when they bring the red nail polish and try to change their own nose. But we know who they are.
It turns ugly. Make sure you send in your questions for that guy. His name is Santa Claus. Again, you send the questions to friends@foxnews.com or tweet us.
We're keeping Santa up all morning.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little chilly and rainy here in New York, but hopefully there are some folks there across the country. Some are getting a white Christmas. We have Adam Klotz here to give us the update on the weather today. Good morning, Adam. Merry Christmas.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas, everyone. And yeah, a very winter-like forecast is what we're talking about. Temperatures frigid across the country as we're talking about dropping down in a lot of cases in Arctic air mass where these numbers are going to be plummeting over the next several hours. This is the last 12 hours. Your forecast is we're looking at snow beginning to pile up here in the Great Lakes into the northeast, rain here right along the coast. That's going to continue, and we are looking at winter advisories, watches, warnings, stretching all the way up into New England. There are going to be areas where we're talking about as much as 4 feet of snow. So when you talk about 4 feet of snow, you want to be inside, you want to be eating. I'm with Chef Mark Bailey. We are going to be eating a huge spread here, right?
Yes, breakfast. You know, eggnog donuts. Come on, it's Christmas, right?
You're right, and I am
pumpkin waffles.
Is that an invitation to come start eating?
You guys come stop running over here.
Sure if that,
I'm not talking for the
You didn't-
no, keep going. We're just going to eat.
Yeah, we're prepping all of this good stuff for later. Oh, a nice eggnog
now.
donut, huh?
Wait, are you eating this right now? Split it with me.
I'm actually going to eat it. Yeah.
And it's an apple
This is
bacon
Christmas,
muffin.
man. Anything goes. Can I eat
Yeah.
this?
Oh, of course.
What am I eating?
Yes, apple bacon muffins.
Give me some of this.
You know, come on. And don't forget the spread. This is one.
They literally just want us to eat and then walk back over.
We're talking about it.
Oh, all right. That works for me.
Oh, hey!
That was good.
That was a great transition.
A 2-second break they get, and they race right over there for the food.
That's how it goes.
That was required by the
What's warning?
producers, by the way. I don't want to talk with my mouth full, so why don't you tell us,
I'll take
Molly,
it away.
about how the
President Trump, of course,
celebrated Christmas.
celebrating Christmas. He has been down there in Florida at Mar-a-Lago, taking off after what he felt was a pretty strong December there in Washington, D.C., taking a little break to enjoy some Christmas festivities. We could take a look at, he went, of course, to Christmas Eve Mass, along with the First Lady. We have just a few shots here.
He's there at Bethesda to see the church where he and Melania got married in Palm Beach.
And what I love about this is President was late to Mass, and he's just like all of us. You know, they have the, like, Us Weekly, like, stars are just like us. Well, the president is just like the rest of us, because I always arrive late to Mass, especially on, like, the holidays, because you think, oh, I'm going to get there and there's going to be a seat. There's never a seat. You think in my 39 years I would have figured it out by now.
I think they would have saved the president a seat, though.
I think they did. I did.
Yeah,
You know.
he's got it pretty good, but he was also busy making phone calls.
Oh, he was, of course. NORAD, very important.
The NORAD tracker checking in. In fact,
Making sure Santa is getting from place to place.
well, actually, here's a tweet. We got to get to this too. He's tweeting. He's very busy on Christmas Eve, tweeting, "People are proud to be saying Merry Christmas again. I am proud to have led the charge against the assault of our cherished and beautiful phrase, Merry Christmas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exclamation points."
And capital letters, too, no doubt.
Yeah.
So we got his Christmas wish in there for everyone, and as we, of course, would expect.
And you mentioned the NORAD call.
Right.
Of course. The NORAD calls, talking with children, answering some calls there and chatting with the kids. So fabulous there. Beautiful pictures. We'll be revisiting all of this throughout the morning, but let's hit a few headlines first. The United Nations is cutting $285 million from next year's budget after negotiations with the United States. A goal of the Trump administration has been reducing U.S. contributions to the organization, which total upwards of $3 billion a year. Ambassador Nikki Haley praised the move, calling it a big step in the right direction. Guatemala now joining the United States, announcing its plan to move its embassy to Israel, in Israel to Jerusalem. It is the first country to follow President Trump's lead in making that change. The Central American nation was one of 9 to vote against a UN resolution denouncing Trump's order. Guatemala also played a key role in the vote to establish the modern state of Israel as the first to vote yes back in 1947. But not all of our heroes have to spend Christmas away from the family today. Hundreds hugging family and friends after returning from a 9-month tour in the Middle East just in time for Christmas.
It's like, this is for real. I'm home.
It was probably one of the happiest moments of my life.
This is the best Christmas ever.
It's been hard, but I'm glad he's home.
Everybody gets teary-eyed. I know y'all 2 tough guys. You ain't gonna believe it.
beautiful to see that nearly 300 soldiers from the Army's 5th Battalion, 3rd Field Artillery Regiment returned to Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see that, and you can see how happy people are to have their folks home.
Absolutely. Look, I'll be home for Christmas. I'm a kid from Memphis, so I've been singing Elvis all morning. We probably got some of that coming up. But still ahead, Christmas morning returning to Mosul for the first time since ISIS was wiped out of Iraq. And it's all thanks to the Trump administration, the emotional moments coming up.
And we're taking you live to Vatican City, where Pope Francis delivering his Christmas message to the world right now. Father John here to react. And he's there with Santa.
Hanging out with Santa.
Quite frankly, the two most important people, your priest and the big guy.
Father Morris serving Santa.
Yes.
Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Go tell it on.
Thank you for welcoming us into your home each day at noon Eastern Time. From the outnumbered couch to your home, have a very Merry Christmas.
Pope Francis there delivering his Christmas Day message, telling the world's 1.2 billion Roman Catholics Christmas began with a simple story that changed our history forever.
Here to react this Christmas Day, Fox News religion contributor, Father Jonathan Morris.
Good
Father
morning.
Morris.
Good morning.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all of you.
Let's talk about the message that the Pope is delivering right now as we speak. Obviously, it can't all be about presents and fun. There is a serious element to what the Pope is discussing. Why don't you break down as simply as possible what his message is?
Well, he did say it's a very simple story that changed the world forever, and we know what that simple story is. It's a simple story, but it's also a profound story, and that is that all of us, through our own free will, have chosen to use our freedom for evil. Sin, we call it. And that God has offered us another option, and that is to say yes to his love and to his mercy. And how did he choose to bring us that mercy and forgiveness? In the form of a little baby, which is his only begotten Son. And that all of us who would receive him would have the chance for eternal life. That's the story. What's amazing is that it's so simple. It's there, a little baby in a manger, all alone. And I think that's why he called it simple, and that's why it's life-changing.
When it comes to Christmas, the kids get so excited about the gifts and the presents, and how do you remind them about that true story?
What my parents always did, I'm the third of 7, and we would always stand up on top of the steps and run down in the morning, and I'll never forget, my dad did something very, very simple, and that is before we were allowed to open the gifts, he would make us go and kneel down before the creche. And it seemed like his prayer was probably half an hour. It was probably really about 10 seconds or 30 seconds. But that made a big difference, Molly, that's exactly, he was reminding us that's what counts.
Father Morris, I went to St. Patrick's 5:30 Mass yesterday. As a new Catholic, it was very special for me to go. And I went early and I got a seat. And I actually shot a little bit of video. Monsignor Ritchie, you see here, he's marching through before the Mass began. He got the baby Jesus out of the nativity scene and invited all of the children in the church. And I'm a little obstructed there, but you can see children, some so small with their parents, parading, and he marched the entire circumference of St. Patrick's, and then he brought it back and said the message was, it's about children, and Christmas morning, look at the hope of not just Jesus being born, but your own children.
God could have come down to us in the form of a warrior angel, and just scared the heck out of us and make us say, come on, get with it, guys. But he didn't, and he came in this form, and I think that's what's so amazing. We look around the world today, and there's a lot of problems. I was just in the taxi on the way here this morning. It was a guy from Afghanistan who left Afghanistan many years ago, but he said, my country has experienced war my entire life. But we think about what's going on in North Korea. We think about what's going on in so many parts of this world, that people are suffering deeply, deeply. And imagine God going, these are my kids. Why can't they just love each other? But we don't. Sometimes we do, but generally we don't as a world. And that is God's patience and love to say, I could come as a warrior angel, but I'm going to come as a baby. Maybe you'll get it. Eventually, you'll get it. And that's my hope and prayer. I think it is all of ours.
It's the nature of the human condition, and that, quite frankly, is why we have religion, and we believe in a higher power. And today, obviously, an important day for Christians around the world. It is. Welcome to the team, by the way, the Catholic team, by the way, Greg.
Thank you,
Glad to have you.
And I'm excited we have a new 2-year-old, and that's exactly the message you're delivering, which is that love that you feel parents do for their baby is the Christmas message.
And those 2-year-olds can be pretty terrible at times, too. We like the little babies more.
We love her to death.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Father.
Coming up, there's nothing like watching a Christmas classic on Christmas morning, but which one is your favorite? Movie man Kevin McCarthy shares his top 5, and then there's going to be some battles on the couch this morning when we break this down. More when Fox and Friends returns on your Christmas morning. All right, some quick headlines here on your Christmas morning. North Korea showing no signs of giving up its nuclear program. The rogue regime calling it, quote, a pipe dream for America to even think they would stop testing missiles. This after the UN punishing North Korea for its latest test, placing sanctions and blocking nearly 90% of its oil exports. And Christians in Mosul celebrate their first Christmas Mass since ISIS was driven out.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a figgy pudding and a cup of good cheer. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring some right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
They sound
We
great.
wish.
Yeah, they sound
fantastic.
And it begs the question, has anybody ever had figgy pudding? Let us know, friends@foxnews.com.
Right.
Makes you nervous about
is it?
caroling door to door in case someone actually brings it to you.
Right, you're like, what is this?
We need to get someone here. Maybe our chef can make some figgy pudding. I don't know. But, you know, we've also got some shout-outs. We got to get to this. Shout-outs from staffers to their families. Here's producer Ashley Mitchell with her husband, Pat, and their daughter, Ayla. That's awesome.
And this is line producer Drew Carmichael celebrating Christmas with his family. These are the folks, the staffers here that make Fox and Friends happen year-round. So it's fabulous to see their families.
Check out associate producer Nikki Del Castillo with her Aunt Eileen, her mom Aurelis, and goddaughter Olivia, her brother Chris, and grandmother Clara.
Merry Christmas. And here is Fox and Friends' first executive producer, Desiree Dunn's baby girl, Olivia.
More babies.
Yay! Celebrating her first Christmas with big brother, Caden.
And he looks thrilled. He looks very
that's
happy to be
awesome.
holding that little baby. This is producer Jeff Field with his wife, Diana, and daughters Isabella, Gianna, and Frankie, who's also celebrating her first Christmas.
Awesome stuff. And senior producer Stephanie Freeman with her fiance, Travis, her mom, Carol, her dad, Will, and sister Mallory celebrating Christmas in Spring Hill, Florida.
And here's graphics producer Michael Giordano sharing this one of his 3-month-old nephew, Teddy, excited for his first Christmas.
Teddy is grinning.
He's ready.
Awesome stuff. We love it. Keep sending the pictures. We want to see the pictures. All right.
Yeah, the baby pictures, too. I like the baby pictures.
We got to find out, by the way, who's cooking for the Carmichael clan. That picture,
Yeah, right. A lot of them are huge.
Carmichaels.
There's like
I think Drew's
97
lying
of them.
later. We got to find out how many people.
Hopefully they're potlucking
Mrs.
and it's not
Carmichael's
all on
gotta
just
cook
one
for.
Carmichael.
Out of all the stories I think you're going to hear today, this one is just going to tug at your heartstrings. It is unbelievable. A hero firefighter who was rescued from the rubble of 9/11, now stepping up again in a major way.
Yeah, this story story gaining a lot of traction online as he himself now gives the gift of life.
Fox and Friends first co-host Rob Schmidt is here now with a look at what's trending. Rob, Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas, guys. Good morning to you. We do start here with just a great story. A hero New York firefighter, the lone survivor from his firehouse on 9/11. The South Tower collapsed all around him as he was just outside the building. And he is giving has given one of his kidneys as a Christmas present to a total stranger to save her life. Fireman Kevin Shea donated his kidney to California special education teacher Lois Knutson, right here, suffering from a degenerative kidney disease that would soon kill her. Lois Knutson actually grew up in New York admiring firefighters, and now one has saved her life. Her disease is hereditary and so dangerous that she and her husband actually elected to not have kids. Here is the firefighter, Shea, right here, the hero. She instead devoted her life and her husband's life to helping special ed kids instead. It is an awesome story all around. It's in the New York Post today. Check it out. Get more details on it if you want to. And next, a Fort Worth, Texas mom who used her Christmas bonus to buy gifts for her 3 boys, devastated to find them stolen from the bed of her pickup truck just days before Christmas. When she called Fort Worth police, the department got together and they saved Christmas for the family, chipping in to replace the gifts. Here's some pictures of the officers right here making the delivery and saving Christmas for this family in Fort Worth, Texas. This was just last week. That is cool stuff. And finally, listen to the pipes on this police officer from Portland, Maine.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
If you want to hear the rest of that, I mean, what a voice. It's on our Facebook page. Officer Jeremy Turner was actually a music major in college and was dared by another officer to do this. He did not disappoint with that rendition of Oh Holy Night. The police chief says the video helps to humanize police officers at a time when that certainly can help. And we here at Fox News, of course, love our men and women in blue. Guys, we'll turn it back over to you now.
And that song is such a powerful song. Every
it is
time
one
you
of
hear
my
it,
favorite Christmas
it's so
songs.
beautiful there.
You know, that firefighter that Rob was talking about is going to be here today to share that story. You're not going to hear that anywhere else. This is the story. So will the woman that received the kidney, both here to tell it live. You're not going to hear it anywhere else.
These are 2 people that are just giving so much. It must just run through their blood.
And they've never met. I mean, this Christmas magic is about to happen on this show. They've never